Hey everyone, it's Bonnie. Happy Friday! Check it out. I have a guest star today. Oh my goodness. This is my very good friend, Lenny Pinna. We have known each other for, is it over 30
years?
Over 30 years? Oh my gosh. I should put a screenshot up. At my wedding, Lenny was at my wedding dancing and
dancing full.
Dancing like crazy. Oh my gosh. We met in college. I was an older student, and he was a theater professor. And we worked on a very exciting project together called, Lenny?
Ecclesia Theater, and the first production was Oedipus Rex.
Okay, you guys, this is old school. This is old school, you guys. I designed this flyer in some horrible program on a 286 computer. I have no idea how I did it. And it was printed at a printer.
Because you're amazing. That's
But Lenny additionally is the amazing person because he knows how to do the artwork. What did you design?
I designed this unity symbol as the central character for our company. And Bonnie provided me with the calligraphy pen and the paint, and I went over and over and over until we got just
remember
just the right one.
So we literally, my mother actually went to the same college as I did at the same time. She was in art school, and the three of us were in her art studio. And Lenny, remember you had paper and and he was doing these circles for 3 hours until he got the right one.
Just the right one.
But it was amazing. It was amazing. So this, and remember the giant 20-foot poster? I mean, the print, remember that? Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, because we were getting ready for this giant production of Oedipus.
So talk about the building. You got to talk about the building.
Okay, so Lake Erie College, this is where we performed the first show, has Morley Music Hall.
Morley Music Hall, yes.
It is like this neoclassical Greco-Roman columns, pipe organ, balcony, filigree. And it just spoke of being like we were in ancient Greece.
Yes.
And we used that as the actual space for the production.
And we printed this 30-foot by 40-foot like banner of this circle. And we put it on top of the music hall. And people are driving me out going, what is that?
We intrigued them.
It was amazing. So, yeah, that was a really good time. That was 1997, you guys. How long ago was that? I don't even know. I can't do the math.
That's 26 years
26 years, yeah. A long time ago. So, Lenny is here with me. I'm so excited because he has published an amazing book about an amazing man. And we're going to talk about the Pride Collection, too. Within all this, we got a long video today. I got my tea. You guys. So, during Oedipus Rex, I met one of the most amazing humans I've come across meeting. So, Ted Burr was his name. We're gonna talk about him in a minute. So, the first time I met Ted Burr, he came into Morley Music Hall, and he was wearing a very long, beautiful, flowing, what would you call it? Like a
caftan.
A caftan. That's what I was going to say. I'm like, it's a caftan. And he had like a medallion around his neck. How old was Ted then?
He was in his early 70s.
Early 70s. And his long, flowing silver hair, beautiful. I was kind of like, did someone just like from Hollywood just like walk in? It was amazing. And Lenny introduced me to Ted, and he was the most gracious, amazing human being I have ever worked. I mean, he's just so wonderful. Ted was amazing.
I found a picture of him right away.
Did you?
It's in the book.
Oh, this was Ted. This was Ted in his 70s.
This was his actor headshot.
Yes.
With his creamy skin, very androgynous.
Amazing. Yes. So Lenny has published a book. I'm going to let him talk about because it's just like the story is incredible. But before we get to that, my segue here, we're going to talk about the Bath & Body Works Pride Collection. Yay. Because Lenny is going to be promoting this book a lot during Pride Month. Check it out. I made, check it out, some bumper stickers. We're working on the design right now. We're going to have t-shirts, all kinds of good stuff. So Lenny knows that I'm
Yeah.
a Bath and Body Works fanatic.
To say the least.
So I told him he had to review at least one product with me on camera.
Uh-oh.
So I got a hold of the Love Always Wins. As many of you know, I think, is this the third year for Love Always Wins, you guys? I think so. I can't remember the other ones because I'm like looking at, my desk is a mess, you guys. I got everything everywhere. Remember last year was the paint strokes. Remember we had the rainbow paint strokes. By the way, this is buttery popcorn. Really haven't smelled this one. Smells just like buttery popcorn. Yeah.
Warm buttery popcorn.
Yes, warm buttery popcorn. I have got the banana one, the sweet banana burning in the dining room, you guys. We're going to be talking about that later. That's amazing. So Lenny has not smelled Love Always Wins yet. No, he has not. We're going to do a first impression. Okay, so how do you like the packaging?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, because it's the rainbow colors, but it's done in very subtle, sophisticated tones, rather than being blatant. It's really pretty.
It's gorgeous. So I have the Diamond Shimmer Mist and I have the mist. This will be in everything. We're getting a body mist too. I'm excited about the body mist. Okay, Golden Starfruit. Fresh coconut water and cedarwood heart. I like it this year. I smelled it. Lenny has not. So we're going to give you a little spray. You like it?
I do.
It is a beautiful unisex site, you guys, this year.
And it does have this combination of that slight sweetness and that slight, not smoky, but earthiness.
That's the cedarwood. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are going to love this year. I smelled this yesterday when I brought it home, and I'm like, they got a winner for Love Always Wins this year. This is totally unisex. It's a fruity, deep. I love it. This is people are going to be all over this. And then, if you want a little bit of sparkle mixed in with now the Diamond Shimmer Mist, you're going to have a little bit of glitter. So that's always a win. You guys know how much I love my Diamond Shimmer Mist. So, Love Always Wins. It's rolling into stores right now. I got a little sneak peek of it. I also got, look at this. Isn't this pretty? Lenny used to live in Berkeley, and you were saying this kind of reminds you of something.
When I went into San Francisco, they have a MARTA train. It's their city system, and that's actually sort of the design.
That's really interesting.
Of their system.
I love this. This is beautiful. So we have this, and now the big segue, the big reveal. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of Lenny. Lenny has been working on this project for years. This is a passion of his. This has been
23 years.
23 years. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say this is a life project about a very important topic that is near and dear to my heart. And I am so excited to let him talk about this book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, it starts with the man, Ted Burr, that she spoke of when he was in his 70s. And we were good friends. We had met in theater at a Dabama theater production. And we became friends. And he never really told me about his private life. We always talked about art, opera, theater, symphonies. But one night, we went down a path where he started telling me about his early life. And I had no idea that he had a struggle. And it was the fact that this is what he looked like at age 19.
It's beautiful.
He had, on his own, he lived in Bellevue, Ohio, town of 7,000.
Which I think is really ironic that I am also in Ohio. There's so many connections. Lenny and I have made so many strange connections over the years. I mean, this is
So he went and had this photo taken with his own money at a photo studio because this is how he wanted to look, not like his high school photo that he had to conform and wear a suit and tie.
And what year was this, Lenny?
This was 1943. So
pre-war.
What I found out was that when he would look like this, he loved the movies and he went to see many movies many times. And one that he saw in 1943 was called King's Row by an author, Henry Bellamy. And the author was the novel author was Henry Bellamy. Warner Brothers made the film, which starred a young Ronald Reagan, which catapulted him to fame.
That's amazing. I know. How ironic is that?
Yes. Well, Ted watched the film over and over, and he was so intrigued, he went to read the novel. And there was a character that was not in the film because it was 1943. It was he was censored out of the film. Jamie Wakefield, who was too pretty to be a boy. Well, Ted identified with that character so much, and coincidentally, he also got a draft notice, and in a panic, he sent a letter to Henry Bellamy, the author of King's Row, to tell him, is there something you can help me with to understand who I am and why my life is like this? Henry wrote back, and for 2 years, until Henry's death, they wrote these long letters, very psychologically complex, and they were talking about things in 1943 that we're only beginning to talk about in the last 5 years.
Yes.
And so Ted thought he was a woman inside of a man's body, and they were talking about that in 1943.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
So what I've done is I made a film about the 75-year-old Ted Burr, and when we realized that these letters were in a box for 55 years, he transcribed them, let me read them, and I said, Ted, that's the story I need to tell someday. But I knew it was going to be a long time off. The year 2000 was not a time we could tell this story.
Exactly. I remember. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So
that was the year I got married almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ted, in 2003, bequeathed me the letters so that I could make a film or a TV series. And I've been working on a TV series called In the Name of Jamie Wakefield. And he died in 2012. Ted did, and I got really serious about working on the material.
Yeah, how old was Ted when he passed away?
I think he was 88.
88, okay, I can remember, yeah.
And so I just now published his letters, and I write an introduction and a postscript, so you really get an understanding of the context of what they were talking about.
You have one of the original letters just to show, can you just show that? Yeah, so you transcribed all of these letters.
Well, Ted transcribed them because
okay, I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember who
I wouldn't have been able to read. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Ted's handwriting was really beautiful.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you the historical part of this book. Yeah, you can see. You can see pretty good there, Lenny. Yeah.
Now, but wait till you see Henry Bellamy's handwriting.
Yeah, when I was reading the book, I know Henry's handwriting was really hard to...
You can hardly make out what it was. Thankfully, Ted did all the transcribing and handed me a binder of typed letters so that I could read them.
So can you talk about like the historical part of this? Because to me, when I read this book, I was so moved by the historical part of what's happening, going through the years, the 50s, the 60s, all the different, gay rights, the women's revolution, everything that's been happening to us in history to where we are today. Can you talk about like the historical part of that a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit in that, well, again, Ted thought he was a woman inside of a man's body. Henry Bellamy, coincidentally, was interested in Freudian psychology. And he kept telling Ted, I think you're just being hysterical. There is no such thing. He said, if there were a world where there were 3 sexes, maybe you could exist like that.
Oh, my God.
But since we don't have a world like that, well, Henry was a product of his time. And he had a limited understanding. And so he couldn't understand that Ted had these feelings. And Ted kept trying to tell him who he was inside.
Yeah.
But he did not help Ted become more realized. He actually started to have him withdraw.
Yeah.
Stop wearing makeup. Ted was wearing makeup to high school, but not camp-wise.
Yeah, yeah.
In a very subtle enhancement.
Exactly.
He knew how to wear it well. And so he had him cut his hair shorter. He kept working on him. You got to conform, you got to conform, you got to conform. And that's the sad part of the story.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, can you talk about that a little bit?
Ted was this amazing. Ted wrote a novel by the age of 19. He sang opera. He was in theater productions. He played the piano. He danced. He was just this Renaissance kid.
Yeah, before his time.
What a life he could have had.
Yeah, if he
would have been born now.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
And so when you hear him, you think, I think young people would be so inspired about what he was all about. And even in philosophy, his mind was way ahead.
Yeah.
He actually was telling Henry, I think that the homosexual should have a place in society.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, and he goes,
in 1943.
In 1943. Yeah. He says, I think that we should be thinking about how they should have a place in society.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know. And I mean, obviously, I've read Lenny's book and everything. And it's, to me, what resonated, I mean, I'm 30 years old. Like, he's a little older than me, but he looks amazing.
I'm 64.
that anyone, gay, straight, man, woman, will get something from this book because it's a amazing story of a time that existed way before even we were born. My mom was born in 1944. I mean, so this is even pre when my mom was born, who's now 79.
Yeah, because Ted was born in 1924.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What year was Queen Elizabeth? We was talking. The Queen just died. We were just talking about that.
Do the math. I can't remember.
No, I'm like, seriously, my husband's aunt, I think, was born in 1923, and she's 98 years old. So, I mean,
it was around that same time.
This was like 100 years ago, and I think it's really interesting, especially for young people, including myself, who's kind of young.
You're young.
To be able to experience something that's actively happening now from a point of view that was, 80, 85 years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So I am incredibly proud of what Lenny is doing. And do you want to talk a little bit about maybe where you're planning on going with this? Or
Well, as I indicated, the TV series, that is where I really feel I could tell a story about the imaginative realms in which Ted and Henry talked about in the book.
Yeah.
And because Ted fantasizes himself as different characters, as a woman, and to be able to bring, I think only now could we bring that kind of story to the screen.
Yep.
And even technically be able to handle it really well.
Yeah.
By watching him dissolve and become, like a female version of himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's a today's story now.
One of the things, it was funny, when Lenny and I worked together, I don't want it, 30 years ago. I can't believe we're that old. It was funny. We worked so well together because Lenny was the creative and I was like the manager. I did all the marketing. We just fit so well together in terms of doing so. We got so much done. It was amazing. But I've never met anyone as the way Lenny's mind works is amazing. Actor, quilter, painter, director, artist.
Well, she's understating her value in our venture. If this was the creative imagination, I say Bonnie was my right and left arms. Seriously, her passion for the arts. And her imagination too. We worked together, but she could execute.
I'm like the Tasmanian devil. Lenny's the calm one.
I have the idea, and she just whips it up. Here's the ad. Here's the poster. So
we're very excited to be working together again.
Once again.
And like I said, I'm at 18 minutes. I'm so proud of myself for doing a long video. Oh my gosh, you guys. Like I said, Pride Month is coming up in June, and this is, like I said, very near and dear to my heart in many, many ways. And I'm so proud that Bath & Body Works always does this amazing Love Always Wins collection, because it is true. Love always wins. And I'm going to put the link down below to Lenny's book. It's available on Amazon. There's a Kindle version, right?
Yes.
Yes, you can get it on Kindle. So if you're interested, you're going to check it out.
The name of the book is A Face from Uranus, and you might think that's a pretty unusual title, and it is, but it's Henry Bellamy told Ted when he saw this photo, "You look like you have a face that comes from the planet Uranus."
Yeah, and that's so old-timey too.
That's a mysterious statement he made.
Mysterious, I know. That is very mysterious.
But you find out in the book what it's about.
I love too that the book, I mean, it's the cover of this book is just mesmerizing. It really is. And there's a lot of other photos in here. You want to show this one? That was an amazing photo.
Well, this was Ted after his sort of transformation to become more boy-like.
Yeah.
He called this his band leader pose.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a joy reading the story. It really was. So, oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for hearing. You want to show this one?
Well, this was Henry Bellamy. You can see this kind of...
Oh, tell the story about Henry Bellamy and the Ricardos.
Oh, you mean the Arnaz?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Henry Bellaman's wife, Catherine Bellaman, who sent back all the letters after he died. She sent them back to Ted. That's how I have all the letters. She was a vocal teacher for Broadway and opera, and she had a student, Desi Arnaz Jr.,
How weird is that?
who came in the morning after he eloped with Lucille Ball.
There's a lot of history here, you guys. This is amazing.
Well, Lucy's going to appear in my TV series.
Good.
He eloped, and he went to Mrs. Bellaman the next morning and said, "I haven't even told my mother yet. She's going to kill me when she finds out I married Lucy."
So it's this old Hollywood history. And not only that, but Lenny has actually traveled down south to get pictures, information from archives. This is a huge, huge undertaking that Lenny has devoted his life to. It's amazing. This is so important to all of us that have been involved with Lenny and his project. So, this is fun. I enjoyed having you on.
I had fun being here.
I'm gonna give Lenny the Love Always Wins collection and get myself another one because I think you really like the scent.
Oh, look, there's the Queen behind you, and there's Camp behind me.
Yes. Oh my goodness, you guys. Thank you so much for letting us share this.
Thank you for letting me be here with you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll see you guys later. We got a lot to talk about today. Bye-bye.
Ciao.